Go ahead. Go ahead, Kristen.
How you doing, Dave? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
From Yoshi to Flaherty, their first to second outings, it really seemed like they have settled in. What do you need to see from Walker today to have similar success and set the tone?
I think with Walker, I think actually, I thought he threw the baseball fine his last time out. We just didn't play good defense behind him. I think to the question of what I'm looking for, I know the emotions aren't going to be too big for him, the stage. I think it's more of how he's obviously commanding the baseball, the fastball, the secondary pitches, but most importantly is kind of how those hitters are seeing him, and just seeing the at-bats, the quality of contact, the swings that they're taking against Walker. That's kind of, for me, telling, what's more to come, and so that's what I'm going to keep an eye on.
Go to Jack in the second row on the left.
Hey, Dave, what went into flipping Max and Teoscar and then dropping Will to 7?
With Will, I just think that just give him a different look. I don't think he's swinging the bat great, and so just to kind of let the game get to him a little bit later. Severino's typically been a much better versus right, and so just to give some lefties more cracks at him, and that's kind of the impetus behind that. And I like the way Max is taking at bats, and I feel good with him kind of moving up a rung.
Go to the second row on this side, middle aisle.
Darren Haynes, K-Cow. What's going on, Dave? We're in a similar situation in Game 3 in San Diego. How would you like to approach this Game 3 differently than you did last week?
This one right here, I think for me, it's I feel great in the sense of, certain guys in our pen have had considerable time off. They're rested, and I guess trying to continue to manage this game with urgency if it makes sense. And that's obviously dependent on the first few innings. But, yeah, I feel good with Walker throwing the baseball tonight, and the guys kind of behind him. It's an important game. So if you're looking at it as a 5-game series, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. So to win this first game is really important.
Go to Jim up in the front on the left side.
Hey, Doc. How is Freddie physically, and how has he been bearing up with the ankle?
I think he's doing a great job mentally, trying to stay positive. Although it's pretty frustrating at times that he can't get out of the woods as far as kind of getting over the hump because he's playing a lot. But the swelling is dissipated much more than it was a couple days ago. So he's encouraged today. Hopefully, with the weather and being on his legs, for 9 innings, it won't get too bad or cumbersome. But he's doing a good job of still taking good at bats and making the plays defensively that he needs to. And hopefully, we can catch a good lead and get him off his feet. But regardless, he's going to be in there.
Did he do anything physically yesterday, or was it all treatment?
He got treatment, and then he swung a bat. So he took some swings.
Come down here, first row on the right.
To piggyback off of that, is there a concern about Freddie playing 3 straight days? And on top of that, I'm assuming you are not considering DHing Freddie and having Shohei play the field.
Yeah, Shohei won't play the field. And I think for us is you're just trying to get through this day and then kind of see how the next days look for Freddie. I don't want to get into the thought of him playing 3 days or not playing. It's kind of – that gets a little daunting, I think, in everyone's head. So I think my message to him is let's just focus on today.
Go to David, back row, straight back.
Dave, through the years, you've faced every imaginable pitching decision in the playoffs. With your state of your staff this year, what's unique and challenging about 2024?
Yeah. I think what's unique about this year is obviously losing Vesia for this series has certainly been a tax. But The bullpen is very neutral. I trust a lot of those guys in the pen. I feel like I can use them, deploy them at any point in time, different lanes, different innings. The starters, it's different. They're different guys. I just really don't feel like, with Yoshinobu's, history recently, hasn't pitched a whole lot. With Flaherty, I feel like we can kind of extend them a little bit more, which we did. And with Walker, just kind of reading and reacting. I just think this year, as far as on the starting pitching side, you just don't really have a guy that you're just going to kind of sit back for 7 innings. And not like anybody really does. There's probably a handful of those guys in baseball anyway. But, I still believe, though, in totality, to get 27 outs, we're very, very equipped to do that kind of in totality with our pitching staff.
Come over here to the right side, third row, Peter.
Hi, Dave. What is the biggest difference or biggest differences between these current Mets and the ones you saw the last time you were here in late May when they were struggling?
I said it a few days ago. They're a completely different ball club than we saw. They weren't playing good baseball. Lindor is back to playing MVP-type baseball. Manaea had a different arm slot. They didn't have Iglesias on the roster. I think Vientos was up and down at that point in time, so he's hitting 2 in their lineup. So there's just a lot of different things. So obviously with that, they've had a tremendous second half, won a lot of ball games, and you can see they're playing with a lot of confidence.
And understanding he's pitching tomorrow, just what has impressed you or surprised you maybe the most about Yamamoto?
The thing that's probably surprised me most is, he's pitched in big ball games, so I knew he would step up in a big ball game, so that wasn't totally surprising, but you still need to see it. I'm just probably surprised that he's just not physical. That's something that you probably see him, and he's just not really physical of stature. But what he can generate as far as power is pretty remarkable.
Go to Mike on the third row on the left.
Hey, Dave, I was going to ask about Yamamoto also. Obviously, you are hoping he's going to make more than just tomorrow's start in this rest of this postseason that we'll see him out on the mound again. But just how would you sum up or evaluate his first full season in the big leagues, and how do you think he has handled the current state of your rotation? When he signed and joined that rotation, there were many established big league starters, all-star starters in that rotation, and now he's one of the few sort of still left standing, which puts some responsibility, maybe pressure on his shoulders. How do you think he's handling that? Obviously, we saw how he threw in Game 5, but just from a big picture perspective.
Big picture, I think that the organization, from the front office to the coaches, we've done a great job as far as making sure he keeps his routine or his schedule that he's been accustomed to, and that's something that we, agreed upon when we signed him. I think it's been a very good learning year for Yoshinobu in the sense of the grind of a long season, major league season, learning hitters, major league hitters, what plays, what doesn't play. Having that little injury, kind of being on the IL, was tough for him, for all of us. But to come back with such great intent, urgency, has been great to see. And just to get him in the postseason, I think that's been pretty exciting. So those are things that he can sort of build on for the next, 10, 12 years.
Barry.
Hey, Doc. How are we on Daniel Hudson today? Is he available?
Huddy's available. Yeah, he feels good. Catch play, moved around yesterday, so he'll be available, yes.
What was his
lower body? Just his lower body just wasn't moving well, and you just don't want that to affect, his arm and certainly performance. So that's why we weren't going to pitch him the other night.
So over the next 3 games, have you decided Flaherty Game 5?
That's most likely, yes.
Okay, so what do you do after that? Because you'd have Buehler on very short rest, and you're going to have to throw at least one more bullpen game, if not 2.
Well, Barry, I don't think I'm going to get to Game 6. So we'll see when we get there. There's a lot of things that obviously you know and I know that can happen from now until Game 6. So, right now for Game 5 or Game 3, I feel really good with our starters going through 3, 4, and 5 and where the pen's at. And, when and if that time comes, we'll figure out a plan.
You want to win this in Game 5, right?
I would love to win this in yes.
All right, we'll finish up one more here on the front right.
You are a part of some pretty important LCS history in New York. What's it like to be back in New York in October?
Yeah, it feels great. It's you live to play, in October baseball, and certainly this market is always fun. I love beating that team across town. I think everyone on this side of town does too. And yeah, it's a great it's great. There's just really no better place, and I'd rather be no place in the world than right here in New York right now.
All right, thanks, Doc. We'll see you
All right,
post-game.
thanks, guys.